Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third day of the BGD Virtual Career Fair. As you probably already have heard, if you've been following us, this is our fifth annual event, and I'm excited to host this. My name is Jamie Taylor. I'm the founder of the Black Golf Directory, as well as this event, and I'm also an LPGA professional. So this is not just an event, but this is actually my lifestyle. I've been working in the industry for almost 30 years. And so this has been a journey for me. And one of the reasons I've mentioned this before for putting on this event is because there's just so many things that I'm still learning. And I've been in the industry for as long as I have about things that you can be doing in the industry and things that are just, non-golf specific jobs. So I wanted this to be an opportunity for you all to learn about those opportunities from the actual companies who are hiring. And then obviously the goal would be for you to either apply for some of these positions, or if you know someone who's interested, to let them know to apply. So we've had two great interviews already the last 2 days, and I'm excited for our interview today. We actually have a double feature today. So we have a company now, and we'll have one later in the day. But the company that we're honoring today is the First Tee. First Tee is an organization that has been around for quite some time. They're a youth organization. And I want to bring on my friend, Joshua McDade, so that he can tell you a little bit about it. Joshua McDade is the director of the chapter, the First Tee chapters. And so I'll let him correct the title because I probably just messed it up. But let me bring on Joshua. How you doing, Josh?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you again for coming. I know you did this last year, so I appreciate you returning to help us learn more about the First Tee. Can you just clarify your role title again for everybody?
Cool. Yes. So director chapter relationships. What that means is I'm a consultant for 25 of the 147 chapters we have within the First Tee network. We're regional, though. I'm from Puerto Rico to Colorado, so figure that one out. But yeah, I just do some consulting work with them as far as on their business practices, helping them with strategic plans, just kind of helping them just navigate the day-to-day operations from a headquarters perspective. And I'm based out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Awesome. So just to give an overall view, you mentioned obviously you have over 140 chapters. Can you tell everybody what is exactly the First Tee? What do you all do?
Right. So it's a youth serving organization. We have a certain curriculum of life skills and core curriculum that we teach. We use the game of golf to do so. We go from ages 7 to 18. The goal would be a young person to start the program and conclude it once they graduate high school. In those high school years, we have some wonderful opportunities on a national level for young people to take part of. I think the creme de la creme is the Pure Insurance Pebble Beach, where it's a senior tour event where you have to qualify, but some of our chapter kids get to go play Pebble Beach, which if you're a golfer, is one of the top 2-3 courses in the world. But opportunities like that are amongst the kids as they continue to go through the program. Another big program that we love is our First Tee Scholars. We do $5,000 a year if you become a First Tee Scholar once you graduate high school to any college you want to go to. But it's great networking. You get a mentor, and it's really setting you up for once you conclude college, you can get you a job, whether it's in the golf industry or just whether that's an industry that goes along with your major.
Gotcha. And I'll just say to everybody, and I know you already know this, Josh, but I am a former First Tee coach. And I personally have known about this organization. I don't know, been a part of this organization in some form or capacity since 2007. So I can tell you firsthand that it's a great organization to work for. And obviously there's many chapters to be a part of. And so I'm gonna let you first just tell everybody, because this is obviously a career fair, what roles are there at First Tee for those looking to be employed?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I work for headquarters. And so we're in Jacksonville. We're like 55 people that we have here. So we have jobs at headquarters from different business units. I work in the chapter relationships area, so I'm really dealing a lot with the chapters, their executive directors, their boards. But we have jobs within the program sector, fundraising as well. We're a nonprofit, so we raise money not only for headquarters but for our chapters that we serve as well. Business technology and things of that nature. So that's the headquarter side of jobs. On the chapter side, like I said, we have 140 chapters. Each chapter has on average 2 to 4 people on staff. So they have various roles that go along there, from entry level to senior leadership type of roles. So we're talking about very administrative roles where you're kind of working on, say sport, working on the database website, doing a lot of communication amongst you as well as the parents that are part of your program, to senior roles where we call those executive directors and CEOs, where you're doing a lot of strategic planning, budgeting, kind of forecasting the success for the chapters, working with each local board within that particular chapters, just to make sure that you have a smooth running organization. So various roles, but all of these roles can be found on our website, www.firstt.org. And you scroll down to the bottom, and it has a career section. Kind of click on it and see everything that we offer.
Thanks for that summary. I think you obviously listed a lot of things. Do you mind sharing, because I know you have a lot of experience yourself, just your pathway into the First Tee? Because I think that's the cool thing about First Tee is that you can start at a certain point and then obviously get to where you are. So can you just share your journey with the First Tee?
That's a great question. So I had a unique journey to the First Tee. So I graduated from Tennessee State University in Nashville. And right out of school, I started working for the state. So I worked there 7 years. I hated it 6 years and 11 months of the job. It was just boring. It was repetitive, 9 to 5. So I guess kind of like year 5 within that, I was like, man, I need to do something different. So I always like sports, play golf, play basketball, but I also use like the business side of sports. It just kind of interests me. So went back to school, got my master's degree in sports administration, took an internship with AJGA. So at 30 years old, really out of my element. I'm doing an internship with 20-year-olds that don't know the difference between anything and everything. And I'm 30 with 7 years of work experience out here running all over the country, running junior golf events. But honestly, it was the best job I had. I mean, it taught me a lot about myself. I had to sacrifice things that I had. I gave up my apartment. I gave up a nice salary to make $120 a week for 3 to 4 months. But that's the path that I knew I had to take to get into this particular industry. One of my mentors told me, he was like, you're going to have so many transferable skills from your job at the government to the golf industry, but they don't know you. So you're going to start from the bottom and work yourself up. So that was 2013. We're in 2024 now. I've had 4 different jobs within the First Tee world. Because once I finished up my internship, the First Tee job opened up in Tennessee, and just kind of climbed the path from there. Hard work, networking, you meeting people like you, collaborating, things of that nature, just kind of helped me with my journey.
I love that story. I don't think I've ever asked you exactly how you got all the way there, but I think that's pretty cool that you started out from literally an internship and then worked your way up into the industry, because I think a lot of people, especially older, who have had a regular 9 to 5, would never think to start at that level. But we're actually interviewing AJGA tomorrow, so it'd be cool for people to learn about how those skills that they teach can help you in the industry and obviously get to where you are now. So for those listening, can you talk about, you mentioned the jobs obviously that they have available, but can you talk about, let's say, the work life for First Tee? So if, let's say, headquarters versus a chapter lifestyle, kind of if it's usually remote, if it's usually normal standard night, Monday through Friday, what does that look like?
Yeah. So I'll start with headquarters. We're Monday through Friday. We're pretty much 9 to 5. We do have a remote side of it. So as you can see today, this is actually my day to work at home, though our offices are closed because of the hurricane. But 2 days at home, 3 days in the office. Pretty relaxed work environment. We have some great bosses. As long as you're doing your job and maintaining the quality of work, they pretty much leave you alone. Let you kind of do what you do. So that's a good thing. As I mentioned, it's kind of 9 to 5, so you can plan accordingly about vacations and things of that nature. Working remote actually helps me with appointments, things of that nature. I kind of can schedule my life around that. So usually Wednesdays is going to do some appointments if I need to, go get a haircut, wash clothes, all that good stuff. And you knock all that stuff out so by the weekend, you can have that time to kind of spend with your loved ones. So that work-life balance is great here at headquarters. At the chapter, however, I'm not can't even front with you. It is a grind. But it's so fulfilling because of the people that you touch and you meet and you connect with at the chapter. But like I mentioned before, you're 2 to 4 person operation. In the summertime, that's your money time. So you're trying to work with as many kids as you can. You're trying to make all the money that you can. You have events going on, things of that nature. So those hours can vary. You can go from anywhere from 40 to I've worked 70 hours during the summertime, especially when I was in Tennessee running the chapter. But like I said, it's so fulfilling because you know that you are putting a smile on individuals' faces that may not have the opportunity to be a part of, the country club life or, have a lot of money and resources to spend on this game. And, you doing your little part to help them and kind of fulfill that is very rewarding and gratifying.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Now you did work, you said, just to remind me, you did work at the chapter level at one point, correct?
Yeah, 7.5 years I worked in Tennessee out of Nashville.
Can you explain to everybody kind of what the day in the life was for you and your role at that time, just to get a sense of how your schedule looked when you worked there?
Yeah, cool. So it just varies. If we have classes, mostly that is all about making sure the communication is going out to the parents about when your classes are going on, making sure that the website is updated with the classes so people can actually see what's going on, where it's going on, time, date, location, things of that nature. Making sure you had enough coaches to run the classes. We like to keep a great coach to player ratio so it creates the best learning environment possible. So all the logistics that go along with like running a business, literally, you're running a small business, all those type of things. And then even the grunt work. Okay, we won't have enough range balls. Okay, you look around, you know the person there. All right, let's put my tennis shoes on. Let me go out here and pick some balls and make sure we got enough balls for classes. That's the type of deal you do. It's a grind, but like I said, it's very fulfilling. When I got promoted to the executive director position, it was more of like overseeing all of these particular things, the programming, the fundraising, opportunities for a particular donor events, things of that nature. So you kind of always got your eye and your ears within the community, making sure that you're connecting with all the people that can bring some type of, positivity or even some money or resources to the organization. Because at the end of the day, everybody's their own 501c3. You would love to have that 6 months to 1 year reserve because you've raised enough money. But it doesn't go like that all the time. I mean, COVID taught us that very well. You had that reserve, and then next thing you know, you don't have any money coming in, and you're trying to pay your employees. So if you build that up, you're always constantly trying to raise some money and making sure that you have some money in the bank so you can provide high quality programs for your kids, as well as pay your staff. That's kind of that job within the executive director role. But those hours can vary. Sometimes you have so many things going on, you're working a lot, but then sometimes it's kind of mild and you just kind of can be in more of the planning mode. So that can be anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a week.
And what would you say is the skills that you should have in that role? And like what, because obviously in the golf industry, people assume you have to know how to golf. Is that
Right.
true for this role? And then also, what kind of are the benefits of the role?
Right. I don't think you don't need to be a golfer. I think you need to be open to a certain point to learning some of the basics of golf. And I know we mentioned in the earlier conversation, like technology. It's so many ways to try to teach whatever type of learner you are the game of golf without you actually have to go find a PGA or LPGA professional to kind of teach you those things. So it's good to know the lingo. It's good to understand certain things of that nature, but no, you do not need to be a golfer. I am one, so it kind of helps in that. But that's pretty much how that goes. And you had a second part of that question. I kind of forgot. I got the ramble in there.
No, that's okay. No, so I asked like, what are some of the benefits
Mhm.
that you get from the job? Obviously, there's compensation
Absolutely.
ranges, but then what else would you get from the job typically?
Yeah, travel. I love to travel. And if you anything you do, if you set your jobs up, you kind of control the narrative of when you're having certain classes or events. You can leave yourself time to travel. It's not just travel to play golf; it's just travel to go any and everywhere. And that's kind of beautiful thing about it. If you're a golfer, you know this as well as I do. You can plan these trips, golf trips with your buddies. It's great networking, it's great fellowship, and things of that nature. And second part, you're outside, that the being with nature, being outside, being active. You get in this industry, you guarantee you're gonna lose some weight. Like if you're trying to, you don't need no Ozempic, you don't need anything. You get out there, you start teaching some classes. You get out there, you do you have some personal lessons. You just do anything and everything. This particular role, this occupation, this job will keep you active, keep you engaged. You're around young people, so you're learning all the things about working with young people and all the things that's going on with them, both good and bad. But it just kind of keeps you upbeat and keeps you current with what's really going on in the world.
Yeah, that's facts. And I will say I can attest to the fitness side of golf, not just from the first tee, but just the industry as a whole. I want to say when I went from working at a golf course to corporate,
Yeah,
definitely gained pounds,
that's it.
like
Yeah,
immediately.
that's
I
it.
didn't realize, to your point, that it wasn't because of anything other than I was just constantly on my feet, constantly moving. I wasn't sitting at a desk all day,
That's it.
and so I didn't have to think about what I was eating and all that stuff.
Hmm.
It was kind of naturally. I was able to stay a good size. So now I got to actually think about it.
Right. I never really liked bananas, apples till I started working at the industry. Stuff that you can eat and walk and okay, just toss it and keep on moving. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So going back to the employment opportunities, you mentioned obviously the roles that you have at both places, but can you speak to like internship opportunities at the headquarters or anywhere for that matter?
Right. So mostly chapters are hiring interns for the summertime because I mentioned that's kind of the peak season for them. Those jobs are usually available, or they start, interviewing for those first quarter, like late first quarter. So we're talking about like kind of in April. Here at headquarters, we have interns for all our different business units. Those will go out in December. All of those will be on our website. And if I need to send you the information so you can forward it to who you need to, I can do that as well. They go out in December. They start doing interviews around January. And I think they are 3 to 4 month internships. I think they provide some housing. You get compensation. You get a membership at TPC at Sawgrass, which the young people that are interns, they take advantage of that. They take all the tea times up because they only had that short amount of time, but it's great. You're gonna get access to everything at the PGA Tour as well. So we have. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Global Home. It's a huge building where the PGA Tour is located. They have fitness. They have yoga studio, classes of that nature, cafe. So you get access to all those wonderful things and other technological things that they got going on over there within your internship. So and it's work that you learn certain things with it. It's not just something. It's not just busy work. You're given tasks, and you're learning how to collaborate. You're learning about time management. You have deadlines. So it's a real task forward internship here at headquarters, but it's beneficial. I've seen a lot of young people that have done the internships that have gone on to work full time at First Tee, full time at the PGA Tour, and that also allows you to meet and see everybody and anybody within the golf industry because you know I love Tennessee, but I have so much more access here in Florida because this is where golf lives. You can attest to that, living where you live. So it's a great opportunity. So, like I said, I'll send you the information. for anybody that's interested in it. You can forward them my information as well if they have any questions. But yeah, I would like to see more of us, to be completely blunt, in internship roles at our chapters, but especially here at headquarters. I just think it's it's not enough of us here. I walk into the building, I see it's 6 to 8 of us. I don't see enough young ladies. I want so to change that particular narrative, we have to do those internships. You got to get in the grunt work. It's not glamorous, but it can be beneficial if you know, go about taking care of your business.
No, that's really helpful. And just for those who have just joined, we're with First T Joshua McDade, and he's discussing internships at the First T from not just the headquarter level, but also the chapter levels, which there's chapters all over the country and even outside the country. So the other thing I would like you to speak to, because I know this is heavily something that First T does, is volunteer opportunities. I know, having been a coach for First T, volunteer and paid, that there's a lot of that available. And what volunteer roles would you say are typical at the chapter level, that people can look to do if they just want to engage with kids in the First T?
Absolutely. Coaching. And it's not that we are going to put you out, or the chapter's going to put you out there to coach and say, go forward. Or we have a very extensive training program here at the headquarters, as well as the local chapters do a wonderful job of training their coaches on how to deliver the curriculum. As I mentioned before, you do not have to be a golfer to be a coach, because I promise you, you probably have some other skill set and assets that are great, that could help that particular team at that particular chapter, that may have a whole bunch of people that are golfers, because you need a good blend of people that understand young people, understand you know, some of the nuances that go into youth development. That's also needed, probably more than you need so many of golf heads. So the coaching side of it is what each chapter is lacking, and that's kind of a way that you can kind of get in and, you know, see if it's something that you're interested in. But a lot of people start from that volunteer coach level and kind of elevate amongst it within the organization. Tell you the truth, I misspoke. I actually started as a volunteer in 2009 while I was going through grad school at the First T, and worked myself up through there. But I got noticed as a volunteer to get to that next level, to that next level, to that next level.
Yeah, volunteering, it's underrated. I think people don't realize how much that can help you get in the door to places. And I think people see it as not a real job because there's no financial compensation. But like you, my first job in golf, which is why I can say I've done golf for over almost 30 years, was volunteering as a junior coach. Not for First Tee, but for a youth program. And that's how I started to learn how to teach golf. So volunteering is definitely something I advocate for, because it's needed and it's a great way to get the experience that you're looking for, especially if you're a non-golfer and you're a little intimidated to work in the golf industry. I wanted to also mention a benefit that I think you can attest to when it comes to working at a First Tee, even as a coach or as a volunteer. I know when I worked for First Tee of Central Florida, one of the volunteers was like a full-time employee at Salesforce, which is a company that owns a lot of a lot of companies, including some of the golf app companies. And, you know, in my line of work, that kind of connection is huge, right? Because who knows when we would ever need to interact with each other outside of, you know, the teaching the kids, but just being able to build that rapport with that volunteer every week and getting to know him, because we probably would never have crossed paths otherwise, was a benefit for both of us, to know that we met somebody who could benefit what we do in our work. So I just want to say that's another aspect I think is great about the First Tee, is that it's a huge network opportunity for, I think, everybody involved.
Yeah, you're 1000% correct. As I mentioned earlier, we have our network summit in Arizona next month, and I'm teaching a couple of classes. And the thing I'm telling, like, I'm teaching you about a few things that I know within the golf industry that could help you, but you're missing the whole point of coming to this network summit and, you know, spending your time and your money and your resources if you don't meet a couple people that can benefit what you're currently doing right now within your organization or elsewhere. Because like I said, it's going to be board members. Say these board members, and they work elsewhere, Fortune 500 companies. They might can connect you to something that you desire to do, and you're like, I thought it was just a golf thing. No, it's everybody kind of plays golf. Golf is kind of a cool thing to do right now. So, like you mentioned before, you meet so many people within this industry that could really benefit whatever you have a passion for. But you would never meet them unless you kind of jump out there on faith and take that opportunity to just kind of get in, like learn the basics. But the most important thing is like network amongst these people, really.
So I do have an audience question related to technology. And the question is, how does First Tee integrate technology and innovation into its operations?
Great. We spent a lot of money on an app. Everybody's on their cell phone. We couldn't fight it. We used to do the notebooks, and kids used to write down all the information within the notebooks and kind of journal all those things. But now we kind of moved into the app. So the First Tee app, the kids have very similar to the books. They can kind of go through their lessons, but it's all on your phone. They have great lessons on that, just great things that you can do. That's one thing that we're really trying to, we kind of slow roll this to chapters, but we're really trying to hopefully within the next year or two, all chapters have their kids on the app and they're using it. Because it makes sense. You can kind of keep everything in one spot. And this is kind of what the kids are doing. So yeah, that's what we're really doing with technology as far as with our programs. I think another thing that we kind of opened up is the fact that the non-traditional golf, like everybody want to play golf, they don't have time to go out and play golf. They might want to go on the range. So your top golf suites, these type of things where like simulators type of deal. We're using a lot of those now to teach the game. It's fun, it's innovative, it has a lot of colors. You can play some certain games. So it kind of takes away from some of that intimidation that you get on the golf course, and you'll notice if you're not hitting the ball exactly where you want to hit it. We're really diving into that. And for people that's a little bit more experienced, these type of things can give you all your data, tracks all your numbers. Pretty much you can know exactly what's going on within your golf swing or your golf ball through technology. And I think we are very much open to all those things because it's out here and it's not going anywhere. You're on mute.
Sorry, I got it. There's another audience question related to, I think, your intern or your volunteer program. How young can someone be as a volunteer for First Tee?
That's a good question. So we do have junior volunteers. Usually these kids are within the chapter. And so they're part of the chapter. And so they kind of are junior volunteers. So they usually start them around like 16. Just to be safe, just for, law purposes, 18 years old for your local chapter, you call, you have to get background checked. Safety is the number one thing, especially when you're working with young people. But then once you go through a background check, you have a training on how to deliver the curriculum and so forth. And if, like I said, if you get really involved in it, you want to be trained on a national level, we have a very extensive training program that we offer here at headquarters, where we do trainings all over the country. And, you can come out and meet different trainers and things of that nature from the First Tee and learn how to really, teach the curriculum.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about the First Tee program is the training program, because even though I am a golfer and an LPGA certified pro, I feel like going through the training with the First Tee is different from getting trained as an LPGA professional. You're not learning like all the extensive swing mechanical stuff, but more or less getting a toolkit on how to engage kids, how to make it fun, how to make them feel like they're learning on their own and not necessarily you telling them what to do, and having to be responsible for giving them the right information. Because, that's the intimidating part, especially if you're not a golfer, to be like, I don't want to tell them the wrong information of how to hold a club or do this or that. So I think the First Tee curriculum is really good about giving you that type of information and giving it, making it less intimidating to interact with the kids. So
And
Yep.
actually, and allowing you to set your own goals. You know, I think you have your LPGA professional. You're going out to teach a lesson. They already got their goal in mind. I want to learn how to play golf. I want to shoot this certain score. I want to do this. I want to know how to hit a fade. Whatever it is. The first tee, it kind of dials it back and say, okay, what are the goals that you want to achieve? You may have one goal. I want to hit the ball in the air 3 times out of 10. Okay, that's cool. That may not be my goal for you. I may think you could do more, but if that's your goal, I'm gonna let you work off what you want to work off of, and then build off of that. You're just there to be that encouraging figure to make sure that he or she is just kind of staying focused on what their goals are.
Exactly. No, I think it's a great program. So I'm going to ask about just a little bit about application process and the interview process. Can you share with us some red flags or things that people should be mindful of when they're applying for any roles with the first tee that you've seen, and also things that could help them be viable candidates?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the resume is great. I would always say don't have just one general resume that you send to any and everybody. You and I, we can see that. I just did an interview literally like an hour ago, and the lady kept on saying the wrong years based on the resume that she had because she hadn't updated it. So I picked up on it. I'm not going to hold it against her. She had a great interview, but just those little things, somebody on this side is looking at and interviewing you, they're paying attention to those things. So you just make sure it's clean. Get to the point, be concise with it. You don't have to tell everything, every detail about your job to make you feel like, you're that much important. You can be concise with it and we can kind of get the point on that. Be on time, be professional. I ain't saying you got to have a 3-piece suit on or you got to have that beautiful whatever. No, look clean, be presentable. Like I said, the time thing is crazy. A lot of people just not on time for certain things, for interviews, for that first day of work. And, that's a hindrance. And the one thing that I'm learning, and I thought you knew more about this, but it's really your attitude. Like if you have a positive attitude, you're listening, you're willing to learn, you communicate, you be transparent, people will work with you in this industry. You don't have to know everything, but if you have a good attitude, that goes such a long way. I've seen some people in the last few years get let go, not because of their work ethic, but of their attitude. And they're like, "Well, I do my job well." Yeah, you do, but it's somewhat it's an image thing. And if you have a bad attitude, that's kind of an image break for the company. They're not going to have you out there as a forward-facing person representing the company. You got a bad attitude. So that was just a few things that I notice and see. And especially like I said, the attitude thing, that's kind of resonating a ton right now based on some things that I've seen go on just throughout, first tee and just work world.
Now, I'm glad you brought up those points. I think the common thread that I've heard from every interview is definitely updating the resume, making sure the resume is pointed to the job you're applying for, because I've also seen people who send their resumes to me to forward to you all. And I'm like, I don't know what job you're looking for. Like, I need you to be clear about it so I can forward this to the right person. Right. So people not understanding that is interesting. And then the other thing I like that you pointed out is the attitude, because I think people, I think there was a time post COVID where, people were looking to hire people for a while, and it seemed, I don't want to say easy to get a job, but it was, people were looking, and now it's a little bit tougher market now. So you definitely got to step your game up, I think, right now, because jobs, although there are jobs, people can be a little more picky about who they choose. Absolutely. And they don't want to deal with somebody who they don't want to deal with. So that's always a good thing, to just come in with the best attitude and present yourself well. So I think some great tips. All right. So anybody joining us, just so you know, we're going to start to wrap up. But if there's any questions, I will bring them forward. Any more questions? I do have rapid fire questions for you, Josh. Since it's our 5-year anniversary, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I'm not going to say do it in 5 seconds, but I would say less. I would say try to answer them in less than a minute or so,
Okay.
just to see what comes to mind.
Okay.
So I'll start with you mentioned you're going to be doing a networking presentation soon at your networking event next month for the first tee. So can you share 5 quick tips for networking in the golf industry?
Okay. Don't be scared. Just don't be intimidated to talk to certain people. Present yourself in a certain way. Have an idea for who you're talking. Like, listen to what they're talking, what they're saying to you. Make sure that you kind of taking certain notes, whether it was mental or you had to jot those down. I don't think that's too much. And then follow back up with them. Make sure you have some type of business card or you have a QR code or something. That somebody can get a hold of you if they need to, or you can get a hold of them. As for in the 5th for networking, smile. I want to be able to come to you. I want you to come to me, and I'm not be so intimidated.
That's a great. That's a great. All right. Can you name 5 skills that are crucial for success in your role?
Communication, transparent communication, open to collaboration, being able to listen and decipher what is really the problem in a quick manner. Um, Being able to have empathy and sympathy for certain people outside of just what their role is. So it's really getting to know somebody off the golf course or off the work. Because once you kind of know that, you can see what may affect why certain things are happening over here in the workforce. And number 5, just kind of being like open. Like, okay, yeah, I did say it's kind of 9 to 5, but in certain times you may get that. I work a lot with the West Coast. You may get there are 3-hour difference. I may get calls at 7, 8 o'clock, and I need to treat those just like I would treat an East Coast call. I mean, this is still regular business hours for them, though I might shut it down. It doesn't happen often, but just taking time to making sure that you treat everybody, no matter where they are, what level they are, the same.
Great ones. Okay. In 5 words or less, describe your dream job in golf.
Making money playing golf courses.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. All right. And what are your top 5 favorite things about working in the golf industry?
Doing these type of things, being able to talk to young people, kind of paying it forward. Every day I'm talking to people that, for the most part, doing okay. But just paying it forward to the young people, like people did that for me. Like I said before, the traveling aspect of it, I've been to several places, and it's just because of the game of golf. I would add to that the relationships. I'm getting married in December. I had a bachelor party. I looked around. Half the guys that were there were guys I've met within the golf industry and built some amazing relationships with. Um, Moving to Florida, being down here in kind of the golf capital. I mean, I know right now it's probably not the most, it's not the best place to be because of the hurricane, but for the most part, it's nice. It's nice out here. I'm an outdoor guy, so the majority of the time you can do so many things within that. And I guess I got 6. I'm gonna be quick. The 5th is the game of golf in itself. You can never master it. So every time you're going out there trying to play it, you're trying. It's like a different game. It's like constantly just trying to play chess all the time. So I like those type of activities. It makes you think, makes you strategize, things of that nature. And I guess the 6th thing, and I will be remiss if I say this, I have met my fiance through the game of golf. And so that right there in itself is wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's a great bonus to the game of golf is meeting someone. And I tell women that all the time. On the flip side, that if you want to meet a guy, go to a golf course.
There
There's
you
plethora
go.
of men everywhere. So that's a good point. It's a very
Yeah.
good point. Final question, and this one is not work specific, but obviously I'd love to hear this as you're my first actual golfer of the people I've interviewed.
Okay.
Most of the companies don't necessarily, like you said, don't have to be golfers to work at most of the companies. So I want to ask you if you could play a round of golf with 5 people, living or dead, who would
Okay.
those 5 people be?
Okay. So my fiance plays golf, so I love this type of question. So it'll be her. That's one. But then we got to get a couple. So we're gonna do Mr. and Miss Obama. Okay. We gonna get both. We're gonna that's gonna be the four there. And then I think the one that will bring it all together, because I think that'd be a good time. But I like comedy, and I want to laugh. Would be kind of the late great Bernie Mac. I know he wasn't a golfer, but I find myself just sometimes just looking at my phone, just looking at little excerpts from him in the past. So that would be it. Give me a couple. Give me my fiance. Give me a couple, and then give me that comic relief.
I love that. That's a great 5 stone group. I think that would be really entertaining to watch. And obviously, I've heard that former President Obama is a very competitive golfer. So
Absolutely.
it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. I can't speak to Miss Obama. Mrs. Obama, I don't know if she plays golf, but I'm sure she'd have a good time.
Oh, of course you would.
Yeah, yeah, of course she would. Exactly. Well, that's some great answers, and thank you for playing the game. So we're going to wrap it up, and I just want to first again thank you for taking the time to do this. For the audience, I would just reiterate that if you missed any of this interview or all of it, you can get it, watch it obviously live, or not live, but watch it on the YouTube. And if you want to get the recording, you need to be registered through our website to get the recordings for all of the interviews, as well as the job postings that Joshua referred to earlier. We're going to be sharing their portal, as well as just takeaways from this interview that you can just kind of clip notes, if you will. So before we go, Josh, any just kind of quick last thing you want to say to advocate for First Tee and why people should work there?
Well, yeah, I mean, First Tee, like I said, it's a great organization. You're gonna meet a lot of great people. You get to travel, all that good stuff. Is room to grow. I know that's a big thing within people. I have room to grow. I would say yes to that. So that's what I will speak to the First Tee, but just the golf industry in general. I mean, you're going to interview. You have interviewed, will interview different people from organization. It's just a great it's a great it's a great world to live in, to be in. And it's not enough of us in it. And right now, I know it's a great time to get into this particular industry. And just don't be intimidated by the fact that you don't know the game of golf, or you can't speak the lingo or things of that nature. No, a lot of this stuff is business. It's accounting. It's business information system. Is logistics, things that other companies do. Same thing goes within golf. So you don't have to be a golfer to be in this industry and to do well and to make some nice money.
Now, thank you for that wrap up. And just a reminder for those who are tuned in, we are going to have a double feature today. So thank you to Josh for kicking us off with the First Tee. I'll be back live at 1:30 with Golf Tech, which is a new company that's joined the virtual career fair. So I'm looking forward to that. But thanks again, Josh. And Joshua, if you don't mind, can we share your contact?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you again, Josh. And I will see you all at 1:30.
All right. Take care.